Hi, I'm Sean Keef. I'm a security engineer with Skybox Security. Skybox provides proactive security risk management solutions. This is the first in a series of video demonstrations. This video is designed to provide an understanding of the framework and architecture behind the Skybox Security Suite. We recommend watching this video before diving into the individual product demonstrations. The Skybox Security Suite is made up of several components, all developed in-house as part of a single unified software platform. The software runs on either Linux or Windows and can be also delivered as a hardened appliance. The individual software modules are licensed by device or node and can be activated or deactivated with a simple XML file. One of the big advantages of our software suite is that data collected in one module is available to all of the other modules. Let's take a look at how these modules work. The basis of the Skybox architecture is the model, viewed within the product as a network map. This model is made up of layer 3 devices, firewalls, routers, load balancers, and IPSs, and is useful for a variety of functions. The data for the model consists of device configuration data as well as routing tables containing both static and dynamic routes. This data is collected in a variety of ways depending on the devices being collected from. The data is collected in an automated continuous fashion using a scheduled task-based system. The frequency of collection can be anything from once a year all the way down to syslog event-triggered real-time collection. As mentioned before, there are a variety of tasks that can be accomplished using the model. The assurance products use the model as a representation of reality to compare against security policy. Policy can be described 3 different ways and is compared against the model on an ongoing basis. This provides the basis of continuous compliance and allows customers to escape from the array of issues associated with manually auditing a network. The assurance product line is broken down into 2 products, firewall assurance and network assurance, depending on the devices used in the model and the goals of the implementation. The pinnacle of firewall auditing would be to get a network to a state of compliance and then be able to keep it there. To do this requires that proposed changes be analyzed for risk before the changes are made to the network. Having risk analysis integrated into the change management process allows administrators to accept risk as an exception or reject the change, keeping the network in compliance. Skybox offers a full end-to-end change management solution that utilizes our set of web service SOAP-based APIs to deliver risk awareness within the change management process. The Skybox Security Suite also allows customers to integrate our analysis engine into their existing third-party ticketing systems like Remedy or ServiceNow. Skybox Risk Control uses the same model as the assurance products. In addition, it allows for the importation of vulnerability scan data from a customer's existing vulnerability scanner. The purpose of bringing vulnerability scan data into the model is to bring context to that vulnerability data with the goal of showing a customer how individual vulnerabilities translate into risk. Without a product like ours, customers typically use the severity of a vulnerability to determine how much risk is imposed by that particular vulnerability. We understand that there's more to the equation than just severity. You need to ask yourself questions like, how much do I care that this specific vulnerability is on this specific asset? And how bad would it be if this specific vulnerability were exploited on this specific host? And lastly, how likely is it that this vulnerability will be exploited given the security infrastructure in place with firewalls and IPS devices? We make this calculation by matching up vulnerability impact data with critical asset impact weighting combined with attack simulation inside the model. This slide shows how our attack simulation works. We start with that network model containing the layer 3 devices. On top of that model, we add vulnerability scan data taken from a customer's vulnerability scanner. From this data, we pull assets and match them up with the critical assets imported during the deployment phase. Then we model threat origins. These are virtual bad guys and are placed at ingress points of the network as well as inside to model things like rogue administrators, disgruntled employees, and compromised workstations. Then we do attack simulation. From every one of the threat origins, we try to exploit every vulnerability on every asset we know about by seeing if the data necessary to exploit the vulnerability can be moved from the threat origin through the network, past firewalls and IPSs to the asset. Every time one of those simulated attacks is successful, we assign risk. This risk can be viewed from the perspective of the threat origin, the assets themselves, or the vulnerabilities. As you can probably imagine, this is an immense amount of calculation, especially in a global enterprise environment. Skybox's patented algorithms allow our customers to enjoy the fastest analysis rate in the industry. We have learned that our risk analysis is only as good as the vulnerability data it's based upon, and in many times, that vulnerability data isn't very accurate. It's not uncommon to see vulnerability scans take place every 30 to 60 days, and even then, they often don't cover the entire network. To address this situation, we've recently added scanless vulnerability detection to the risk control product. This allows us to deduce vulnerabilities from sources like asset and patch management databases. This technology allows us to provide incredibly accurate risk data to multiple groups within an organization. In summary, we looked at how the Skybox Security Suite is made up of multiple modules developed in-house to provide an unparalleled level of policy and risk management. Our modular approach allows our customers to use and pay for only the features they immediately need and an easy way to increase functionality over time. This concludes the architectural and framework overview.